We are live.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe we're live.
We are attempting to be live.
Yep. Alright. On.
Well, our Instagrammers are popping in and out as they do.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, hello.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, haven't seen anybody's on Facebook or YouTube yet.
It said, thank you, Chair Jesus.
Hey, Ford.
Hello, Ford.
So we're starting a little late today because right as we were ready to start setting up was when our air conditioner guy turned up.
Great.
If you look at the air conditioners that were dripping right over where we shoot.
Exactly.
So we were starting to plan to shoot over the other side of the studio.
And then, of course,
But
we
then-
finished.
By the time I got set up, they were all done. So I
Yep.
came back here.
That's
So,
true.
in the immortal words of Zora the Gay Blade, here I am.
No matter where you go, it's the
There
wrong
you are.
spot. And Happy Towers is with us. Jim Hackett's with us.
Hey,
Everybody's
Sam.
coming on. Sorry, we're running a little behind, but as Zia just said, we had air conditioning guy who just popped up exactly when we were going to go on, and our air conditioner leak was right over where we shoot, which is the reason why there's no art behind me tonight. But we are ready to roll, so we're going to start rolling.
Hey,
And
Felix.
Greg Harper is with us. And Happy Towers is with us. And I hope everybody had a good 4th of July as we're loading up with people here. Nobody got eaten by a shark. What else happened? That's usually the only bad thing that happens over the 4th of July. Somebody got eaten by a shark. Actually, I was on a Atlantic Ocean beach called Far Rockaway, and they actually did have drones flying along the beach water edge, and I was just like,
Looking for shots.
this is a little new. That they're seriously looking for some sharks, or hoping to find no sharks.
I would have started looking for Sheriff Brody on the beach.
Yes. So, but it is weird to be in water and then have a
Chief
drone
Brody, sorry. It's Chief.
have a drone go over you, because then you're kind of like, do you know something I don't know? Like, should I be getting out of water right now? So,
Just don't look so tasty.
exactly. All right. Well, we got 7 people on with us,
Hey, Greg.
and I'm hoping more will pop on. We can actually start because I was actually going to start with some of the foil comic books just in case somebody is still interested in getting foil comics, because as I had to clear the shelf behind me, I was like, oh, the foil, we haven't done the foil comics in a long time. So I am going to start. I have a couple of these left. So the way you buy stuff is to just say claiming foil Green Lantern in the comment bar. We will then recognize you want to purchase something from us, and then we'll ask you to direct message us either through Instagram or Facebook. And then we will ask you for your personal information, which is why we say direct message us, your name and where we're shipping, and your email address, so that we can then invoice you. So it's pretty plain and simple. So I'm going to start with stuff that doesn't have artwork. So if there's no artwork, generally there isn't a payment plan. Yes.
Remind me the comic book and the artist that was the first comic that guy got coming off of the boat.
Oh, it was Joe Huber, and it was probably his tour I worked at.
Okay, so Mason Pucci, it was Joe Kubert, and one of his early comic books was Tor.
Right. Because Neal, he left and ended up going to Germany right after the war. He was part of the American rebuild of Germany. And Neal's dad was kind of like a newspaper editor for the military. He really wasn't a war dude.
Yeah, well, he was a kid. Oh, you
No,
know
his
that.
dad.
Yeah, I don't think he was one of the fighting.
No, but he did see war because Dad said that the Batman Odyssey comic book, where the bullet goes in one and comes out the other, had either happened to his dad or a friend of his dad. I don't know which it was. And so to me, it seems like maybe his dad did see some war. I don't know. But in any case, Neal went over to join Neal, his sister, and his mother all went over to Germany. His dad was already out in Germany. They took a boat out to Germany, which I believe if you go to Neal's Patreon page, we did a whole video that Neal drew of his excursion to Germany.
I thought that was the boat back.
Is it the boat back? Well, they probably took a boat back and forth. So, in any case, Happy Tower says, I was watching a Shark Week documentary and there are baby great whites off New York waters all the ways up to Martha's Vineyard. That is true. There are sharks that my daughter lives she lives in Bay Ridge, and there's a pier that's very close to her where they catch a lot of stingrays. They also catch little sharks. So there is sharks definitely near the Verrazano. Or as I like to say, the Verrazano. And okay, so my first item of the night is going to be this. We do have the new facsimile edition of the Green Lantern Green Arrow, where Jon Stewart shows up for the first time. So this is a facsimile edition of it, and they did it with foil. So they foiled the logo and made a little symbol there. Foiled again. So this is $50. It does not come with a Neal Adams signature because this was printed after we had lost Neal already. But we do have these if you're a true Neal Adams collector and you're interested in the foil edition. This is number 87, facsimile edition with Jon Stewart. It's very nice and shiny. If you're into these gimmicky things, this is kind of nice. Or if you want to read it again as a comic book. I mean, it is the original color because they do facsimile. It has the original ads like this that ran in it. So the whole thing is the original. It's done again. So, and if you want to read a copy, you can read this copy if you have your copy put away or you put it in plastic. So again, it's number 87, facsimile foil edition for $50. I'm going to put this down for $50. Okay, that's my first item. And if you're seeing this and we're no longer on air and you want to buy something, you can just direct message us. You can do it. I get a lot of orders after the shows. Okay, so next up, so I'm going to go through this while people are coming on, is the Detective Comic number 411, which has, again, another foil cover of Neal's. It's done in silver foil. It just makes the cover shiny. It's a Neal Adams cover, but the interiors are not Neal. The interiors are, though, I believe, first time Talia al Ghul shows up. But this is, Neal did not do the first Talia story. He comes in later, like one issue later. So this is a foil. We sell this one for $20.
Just these people often mispronounce Ra's al Ghul and say Ra's al Ghul. It's actually not Talia, it's Talia. If you're from Queens.
Or what I like to say is Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul.
Okay. I also have the normal edition with no foil of that 411, which we also sell for $20. Again, these are facsimile editions. And I'm just kind of putting my wall back together again. Now I'm going to hit Zia for a little bit. I have Zia's
Marvel.
Mary Marvel. This is her voodoo doll collection that she does of art, where she took a Shazam blank cover, hello Phil, and put Miss Marvel on it.
Well, it's not Miss Marvel. It's Mary Marvel.
Mary
So
Marvel.
you gotta be careful with your marvels.
Mary Marvel.
But the nice thing about this is, if you see up at the top of the sky by her hair, it is signed by Grace Caroline Curry, who is the actress who played Mary Marvel. Butternut 67, the facsimiles are not signed. That is correct. They were published after Neal had passed.
Right. But we can put we have like a holographic sticker that we can put inside.
It's a holograph sticker with his signature printed on it.
The only problem with that is if you're going to get a CGC, they downgrade it because there's a sticker in it. Right. So.
And you won't get the yellow label anyway.
Right. It's your choice of what you want to do. Well, you can get, I guess you get just a regular CGC.
Yeah, you get the blue label.
Right. Okay, so this is 100 to buy. This is an original drawing by Zia, pencil, ink, and color. And it is $100, and it is signed by the actress, who, according to Zia, is very nice.
She is so nice. I was hoping, because she's so tall and beautiful, that she was going to be a bitch, but she wasn't. There is like nothing not to like about that woman.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to hop around a little bit. All right, there you go to a big piece. Yeah.
We'll
just
then.
hop around.
I will zoom out then for you.
We're all over the place tonight, thanks to my friendly air conditioner fixer. Okay, next up is a large piece. This is 1117, even though it looks bigger than 1117, but it fits in 1117, so it must be 1117. So this is Joker, Harley, Big Boom is what we call this. Very large piece by Neal. This is pen and ink by Neal. Color on this is Zia. The claim price on this is $3,800 because it is a big piece of art, and it is signed by Neal and can be signed by Zia, who colored it. Matter of fact, at this point, you should just sign it. So again, the size of this is 1117.
Yep.
Pen and ink Neal. I'm going to try and get the glare.
And for those of you who are in the know, this was drawn before COVID, because when COVID came along, Dad accidentally drew a carnation that had a face on it, and it became the grumpy COVID carnation.
I'm trying to get the glare.
Oh, don't worry about it. And you're not going to.
My plants.
That's why we got the skin hands.
Okay.
Big bada boom, that's right. And for the Instagrammers, I will zoom in on this.
I turned it a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So let me help the glares. Neal loved drawing Joker, one of his favorite characters to do. I think it's most comic book people who work on Batman. Joker obviously is a favorite to draw because you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with him. Neal tended to draw, like later, I would say Neal drew kind of a very handsome Joker. A lot of his Jokers are kind of on the handsome side.
Well, he's less distorted than when Dad first drew Joker.
Yeah, yeah. Handsome in a weird way. Again, the size of this is 1117, so it's very large.
Handsome in a creepy, please don't kill me kind of way.
Right. And Neal fell in love with Harley Quinn. He really liked the character. And obviously, we all fell in love with the character. Well thought out, knew, was accepted into the club.
Unreplaceable.
Right. And actually has gone on her own So
Mhm.
here is Neal drawing Harley Quinn, a new character in Neal's life, and Joker, an old character in Neal's life. $3,800 is the price for this piece. Okay, this is where if we're gonna drift, it's gonna happen. Okay. Next piece up is Two-Face, Batman Two-Face color. This again is a large piece, not as large as the last piece. This piece is 1114, and it's obviously Two-Face. This is based on Neal's cover that he did for the Two-Face book. And Neal definitely wanted DC to use, because actually we have another drawing where Dad actually has the nicer face so that you could get both faces, but it's large. It doesn't fit this. But he was planning on doing, the cover has a nice face, but then you take the cover and fold it back and it becomes the ugly face on the one side. But Neal, they didn't pick it up. They didn't want to do it.
Price tag on this?
Price tag on this is $2,000. So the piece is 11 by 14, Two-Face, which I think Neal does a great Two-Face. Coloring on this rocks. The neon green to the side is great. It is pen and ink Neal. Color on this is Zia.
Look at that one.
Great icky eyeball.
He's so pretty.
Messed up teeth. Very handsome on the other side. I don't know what those purple things on his chin are, but they look gross.
That's scarred flesh. It's all scarred.
So again, $2,000 for 11 by 14 Two-Face. We are now currently doing artwork. So artwork, we do have a payment plan where you put 1/3 down and the remaining balance can be paid over time. And you're in control of the size of those payments that you make monthly to us. Whether this month I had a bad month and I can only afford 50. Next month I had a great month, maybe I can afford 100.
Mm-hmm.
And people do pay this off. I've noticed that the closer you get to the end, the faster the payments seem to happen, because you also realize that you're very close to owning a Neal Adams piece, which Neal Adams today is still a worthwhile buy if you're looking for investment. If you hold on to this for a while,
Yep.
You'll get your investment and more back on it.
Yeah, the value of Neal's artwork only ever goes up.
Right. And it's ended. So there's no more competition out there because
No new pieces.
Neal's not around to draw them anymore. So this is kind of it, guys. On the Neal Adams buying of artwork, outside of spending more money probably at a Heritage or something like that. So Two-Face is $2,000 to buy.
Happy Power says, when my horse comes in, it's the best month.
Yes. Well, like
We follow the horse racing, Felix. Is that what you're telling me? Or did you buy a horse?
I don't think that's well.
Bug nuts? No, those are actually marker colors. That is hand colored. All of the pieces that we're showing, unless it's a printed piece, are hand colored.
Yeah. Okay, this piece is an 8.5 by 11. This is a fine line drawn Batman. We have other Batmans that are drawn with a thicker line to it. This has a lot of nice line work with some cross-hatching stuff going on. Pencil and ink Neal, 8.5 by 11. Signature is on it. It's a sign piece for $2,000. And like I said, it has a lot of fine texturing and fine lines of inking along the face and cowl. It's a very classic Batman. 2,000 is the asking price for this. 8.5 by 11 is the size of it. Yes, Neal definitely knew. I have a horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. Can do. Can do. Because the only reason I know that song is because Neal liked to sing it. Okay.
Ian Dorian says, gorgeous.
All right. So, this is Batgirl. Now, this is the piece that Zia is currently coloring. So I'm showing you because we had this piece for $1,500 in black and white for a long time, 8.5 by 11, signed by Neal, pen and ink. Now, this piece is now only going to be sold with the color. So I'm just showing you. So cast your eyes on the black and white. If you've seen our posts, I mean, if you follow Zia, her post where she's coloring Batgirl. Today I saw the background that she's putting together to do a background behind this piece in color. So we're kind of taking you through the process. So again, this could have been bought at $1,500 and nobody bought it. We had it out there for a while. I always wanted to get this piece colored because I think in color this is like a really strong piece. And I don't know how many of you have seen Zia's color of the character.
Yeah, you should be able to see the time-lapse video. If you want, I can go grab where I'm at with it.
Okay.
Bug Nuts, you have not missed any Tarzan art, but I don't know if we have any Tarzan art pulled. I don't know what we have left in Tarzan art, but I think the best thing you can do if you're really interested is send us a direct message saying, hey, I'm looking for Neal Adams Tarzan art. What do you got? And we can check the drawers and
Right,
show
we
you
can
what we still
check
have
with Jason. Jason tends to know more about we refer to them as the savage characters, whether it's Conan or Tarzan and stuff like that, because Jason has a love of that stuff. So Jason may have a Tarzan that is available. I don't think I have a Tarzan at all anymore in my pile, but that doesn't mean that there's not something up here. So like Zia said, just direct message us that you're interested in a Tarzan piece, and we'll see. We'll run it up the flagpole of all the continuity and see if we got anything that you might like to buy.
Okay, and Frankenstein wants to know, have you ever seen Duke comic art?
Duke. Oh, Duke as in Duke?
You talking Duke like that was for website service, right?
Yeah, it was
Internet
the
service.
little round character.
You are welcome, Bug Nuts. And Jason, who has just checked in, says, I think we got a Tarzan versus Gorilla pencil illustration.
Right.
So Bug Nuts, yeah, definitely send us a direct message and we'll show you what we got.
Right. In regards, who's asking about Duke?
That was Frankenstein on YouTube.
Okay. So, yes, we have all the art for Duke. We have all the pages of the brochure in color. And I think black and white, because I think we did color and black and white on that. So, yes, we do. If you want to direct message us, since you were on YouTube, I would go to Neal's Facebook, which is Neal Adams Comic Artist. And from there, you can direct message us.
Oh, he's talking about an artist, apparently. He draws with alcohol-based markers on hockey card size. That's
Not
your brother.
Duke, the comic book.
No, I'm afraid I have not seen that. Neal definitely would not have seen that, and unfortunately I cannot show it to him because he is no longer with us. But I will have a look at it, I suppose.
Okay. So what Zia did was she pulled the Batgirl out in color. She's not done because Zia's going to be working on a background. looked amazing today when she was putting it together before she colors it.
Because you know I can't just do something simple.
Right. So it'll be amazing. And we're, like I said, we're taking you through the process with us, where there are pieces here in black and white. We don't have to color the original. You can take your pristine Neal Adams original and put it away. You can hang a copy of the black and white that then becomes an original of color.
Thanks, Sam.
But this will rock when it is fully colored, and then we'll set a new price for this. But that's what I'm saying. When these things get colored, they come to life a little bit more. So you guys follow Zia and Neal Adams, comic artist, and Neal Adams Instagram. You'll see us, or not us, you'll see Zia working on the background, because we're going to take you through that. And then it'll be up here either Friday or next Wednesday, and then you'll see it done.
Yep, and if you do take the time to follow my Facebook and Instagram, you will see other pieces that I work on that are not Dad's artwork, but either my own or other pieces that I color for other artists, because I don't just color me and Dad, I color whoever. Jewel tone purple. Yeah, well, we decided to go with the 1960s TV show costume because we thought it worked. And it's fun, and I don't get to do it often enough, so.
Right. No, both Z and I felt, let's go purple. And like I said, when she gets that background in, it's going to rock.
Well, I've only gotten to color this costume. This is only the third time I've gotten to color this costume.
Right.
And I like doing the sort of sparkly effect on the bodysuit. It's fun.
So, like I said, follow us and you'll see how it turns out in the end.
Yep. Actually, I'll be doing the background tomorrow because I will be uninterrupted.
All right, see, I'm going to put it back here so you can grab that. All right, next up. Okay, this is Batman. Now, this is an 8.5 by 11 Batman. It's done in a heavier inking style by Neal. It does have a signature on it. Pen and ink is Neal. And basically, this would look just as fantastic colored as the background. We'll just be taking it a different direction.
I think I have a scan pen on this one. Hey, Michael. What are my plans for the background? That's for me to know and you to find out tomorrow.
Right. If you follow both Neal's Instagram and Neal's Facebook and Zia's Facebook and Zia's Instagram, she runs her work. I mean, that's part of what we decided to do, was share the experience of Batgirl, because nobody was buying her in black and white.
Though granted, in time lapse, because watching me do it in real time is not as exciting.
Right.
Fernandez Robert, these pieces are colored using marker, alcohol-based marker, and with some airbrushing on occasion.
So, yes, this is the Velveteen Bat, because the inking on this is very black.
Hi, Stewie. I call him Stewie from now on.
Stuart's on with us.
He's going to kill me.
Well, you say, at least you call me Stewie. I have other names.
Other names for you or other names for Stuart?
No, I'm not going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a Neal Adams Batman here. Size is 8.5 by 11. Pen and ink Neal. Really nice inking on this piece. $1,400 is the asking price. And again, this can be colored as well.
Stuart is semi-adopted.
Only on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And he lives in a cornfield in Iowa.
That's right. But I hear it's a lovely cornfield.
And actually, you know,
someday I'm gonna have to find a photo of where I think Stuart lives.
Posted it. I will say, the married life has done wonders for his hair, though. Because it doesn't look like he just got out of bed so much anymore.
Yeah. Okay, next up is Man Bat, who I almost called Batgirl. Man Bat is a profile sketch. He is 8.5 by 11. Again, signed piece by Neal. Fantastic pen and ink work on this piece. $600 is the asking price. And again, this can go on the payment plan, guys. So you put a third down. Each month after that third down, you pay what you want to pay, whether that's $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever, as long as there's payment of some kind that comes in monthly. And then when it's all paid off, it ships out the door to you. And that's how the majority of people who are currently watching have bought many pieces of Neal Adams artwork.
Hey, Robert. So we do have three brothers. It's Joel, Jason, and Josh. So it may have been Josh that you met. As for the girls, it kind of depends. What color was the hair, and was she wearing glasses? Because at conventions, it could be Marilyn, Chris, or me.
I haven't done conventions in a while.
Well, I haven't done conventions like sat next to Dad in a long time.
Yeah. I mean,
So
mostly it was Marilyn.
Marilyn.
Neal's wife was with him a lot on the road at conventions. So it was probably Marilyn, Neal's wife, who you may have met.
And it may have been Josh, but it may have been Joel. If it was right next to Dad, it would not have been Jason, because Jason usually has a space
Yeah, he usually has
separately with all his sculpts. So we're a complicated family.
All right, so we have Man Bat up 8.5 by 11 for $600. Again,
I'm waiting for one of y'all to buy this and say, "Hey, Zia, color Man Bat for me."
yeah.
Because I haven't gotten the color Man Bat head.
And this is a piece, you know how you guys wait for me to say this is a piece that I would like?
Yeah, this is a piece of
This is a piece that, like, I hope you guys don't buy.
And then Chris will take it home, and then you go, "Okay, I'm gonna get it," and we'll be like, "Nope, Chris took it home already."
Except you guys know Chris never takes it home.
No, Chris is willing to bring it back.
I've lost many a piece that I wanted.
Except for Galactus.
Well, I beat them to Galactus.
Yes.
So. And I let Galactus sit out there for
a very long
2
time.
or 3 years. Galactus was at in the portfolio at every convention. He was available. He had a cheap price, guys. And I waited a long time before I asked, "Can I have the Galactus cover since nobody's buying it?" And then Neal used it for the Fantastic Four. And then everybody kind of woke up. So, but when it came out as the Hunger cover, which I don't even know what year that was, it sat forever. And I never understood why people like, why didn't you buy this?
And then as soon as you decided it was yours, you were like, "Oh, are you guys selling the Galactus cover?" Like, nope.
So
Chris's.
Again, this is a Chris pick. Whoa, Man Bat. Whoa, everything's falling apart. Man Bat is a great price here. He should be more for the work and the pen work on this piece. He should get colored. Again, you could do it like the Batgirl we just showed, where Batgirl was on another piece of paper, looked just as good as the original. And you have both of them. One you put away as a Neal Adams original, one you can hang on your wall as a Neal Adams color, knowing that you own the original. For the original, it's $600. I don't know what Z would charge for coloring, but this is a piece that I would invest in. And I can tell you there aren't many Man Bats out there. And at some point, someone is going to do a Man Bat movie that is Batman and Man Bat. And then this character was in Lego, the Batman Lego movie. He's been in all the Batman Lego movies.
Too. I love Lego Man Bat.
So,
although I will say my Voodoo Doll Man Bat is really freaking cute.
That is true. And he is created by Neal. This is a character created by Neal. It's a good character. Do a movie. Obviously, I'm having issues tonight with my.
Chris is experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Because I actually thought the air conditioner guy was not going to show up for us.
I know, you were like, okay, I'm gone.
Right. He was supposed to be here at 5, shows up the minute we're supposed to go on.
I know, and he's like 6'3" and really kind of cute, because otherwise we'd have been like, okay, this does not look like 5:30 to me. But then it was like, oh, he's kind of.
Okay. Here we go. This is a Wolverine. This may be my last Wolverine I have. I believe it is my last Wolverine. Unless you're buying original published comic art, because we do have comic pages that are available to buy. If you're interested in any of Neal's published work, again, direct message us, or you can also reach out to Jason through the nealadamsstore.com. We have a lot of original interior pages. We definitely have the Wolverine job that Neal did on First X-Men. That was a Wolverine's complete issue done by Neal. This is $600 to buy. This is Wolverine, who Neal drew as a framing to the Wolverine trading card that he did. This is $600 to buy. Again, it looks quick, but when you really look at the inking on it, it's pretty decent inking here. Yep. We have left the pencil on it. The pencil can be erased away if you don't like it. I tend to leave things the way we find them, and I allow you to make that decision. If you want to keep the pencil, you want to get rid of the pencil, this can be erased to a clean ink job with no pencil on it. It is signed by Neal.
So we're being asked a question that I don't know if we have the answer to. I think that's a question better put to Marvel and DC. But he's asking, what was Neal's most purchased book?
His most what? Purchased?
Highest number book. Like,
oh,
best-selling.
My guess, after many years of sitting next to Neal Adams, and how, I mean, both Dad and I talked about this, because we would give each other, we would like shoot each other looks, because we would be at a convention and like, it seemed like there was a time period where in a day we could sign like 10, 15 of those Green Lanterns, the first Green Lantern, Green Arrow, the green cover, number.
Oh, the one where Green Arrow's shooting the lantern?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like, and we would joke about it, like somebody's like reprinting these and putting them out on the market or something. Because it just was like forever we were signing those. Now, I don't know any other comic that Neal and I recognized as many copies were signed. Now, the problem with that is if you look at the newsstand sales, because it's the time period that that book came out, really we only had newsstand. And the newsstand sales said that book kind of wasn't good sales.
Hi, Jeff.
But I think at that time period, the direct market was starting to reach in there and buy copies that were swiped off by the wholesalers on the newsstand that they were returned. So there's a weird kind of glitch problem that happened. But like I said, both my dad and I would like look at each other and go, how? And they were pristine copies. I mean, there's got to be a ton of 9.8s of those comics out there because, and they were everywhere. Whatever convention, they weren't like New York based or California based. It was everywhere. So I would say out of every comic that I have sat for, and I go back to almost the first Comic-Con in New York to many Comic-Cons for many years. And that is the comic that both my dad and I have made jokes that somebody was printing them in the basement.
Bugnut says, you mean it's not Archie's Digest first work?
No.
And Victor Palucci Comics is saying, just got info on the Wolverine. If you don't mind repeating the information on the Wolverine.
Sure. Okay, so this Wolverine We had gotten a minimal amount of trading cards of Wolverine because Neal had done the art on the trading card. Jason decided he wanted one of the Adamses, who runs the nealadamsstore.com, that I highly recommend that you guys check out because Jason's got other stuff that's different than even my stuff. And that is obviously on the internet. Jason wanted to sell these, but he just didn't want to, like, let's sign a trading card. So what he said was, why don't we put the trading card in a frame, and then on the corner of the frame, you draw a Wolverine. And I think I don't know how many they did. Maybe they did 5. I don't know how many they did at the end of this. This was a preliminary sketch of Wolverine that Neal did. And then he redid these very similar to this on those frames that hold the trading card. So this was Neal's design for the bottom of the frame.
Right. So this is on 8.5 by 11 paper. It is original pencil and ink signed by Neal. The image itself is probably about 5 by 7 ish.
Yeah. And like I said, the pencil
600.
is still on it, but the pencil can be erased. Right. So if you're looking for, like, oh, it kind of looks dirty or whatever, it's really just the pencil line has been left on it. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. It can be erased away. Your ink lines are all there, so you're not going to lose anything. It is a signed piece, obviously. And we're selling it for $600. Yes, Happy Tower. Somebody had a 4-color press in their base.
Okay, Victor Palucci Comics is claiming on the short plan 2 to 3 weeks.
For Wolverine?
For Wolverine.
Okay. You're right.
Did Neal ever meet Adam West?
Yes, he did. He did. Okay, so Wolverine is now owned by
Victor Palucci Comics. P-A-L. Where did he go? Hold on. U-S-H-I Comics with an underscore between each word.
Okay. Okay, Victor. So definitely don't forget to direct message us. You can go on a payment plan. We usually ask for a third down. And then you can pay monthly until you're paid off. So, and we'll do a bomb because we're going to recognize.
Okay, and B. Kevin's 4 says, hey gang, I just posted my signature series book I got from you all last week. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Victor, we're going to put your name on this and put it to the side.
Don't take off that bracelet, Chris.
We're cringing because when that went off before, we leaked. And here we go for Victor. Here is our...
Go for it. He says, we'll send a message. Thank you.
There's thank you for buying from us. And there we go. Okay. You know what? I'm going to put Victor.
I like the one that got stuck on the camera stand. I may leave it there.
Here.
Victor says, woo!
Congrats, Victor. Is that your first piece of Neal Adams art? And Brent Fontenot said erase the pencil. Blasphemy. And that is a great book.
And Kelly Barrett says, till Miss Mystic started at Pacific, I'd never heard of Pacific, and doing some reading. I only have continuity. Miss Mystic's always liked her and her Zipatone cat.
We actually have a Miss Mystic in my pile.
And Victor says, yeah, it is his first Neal Adams piece. Thank you, Victor. I'm
That's
glad.
great, Victor. It's a great piece to have. And Wolverines are very rare for Neal because Neal never really did Wolverine. He did Wolverine later. And we ended up with Bone Claws, unfortunately, which I'm still not over, obviously. And it's a nice piece. Neal does a great Wolverine. He does great scary teeth.
And he says, I do have a remarked 227, though. Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Having a piece of art by Neal is cool.
You have to ask the rest of the crowd the Neal Adams original art bingo card.
Okay, next up this is a profile Joker for $700. Now I like this Joker. This is a piece I would buy. And the reason why I would buy it is it's a little designy. I kind of like the black half circle he's kind of got behind him because it emphasizes his face versus when you take that away, to me it becomes a lesser piece. I also like it because I'm on the inside joke that the carnation with the angry face represents COVID because Neal started doing that during COVID. So for all of us that have watched the show for a number of years, we all know that's the COVID joke.
And B. Kevin says that Joker is freaking amazing.
Now, this Joker is freaking amazing. It's a great Joker. The black circle thing behind him pops his face. This, again, is $700, which for Neal Adams art, after the man has passed away, with all of his greatness and stuff like that, this is still a great buy.
Okay, B. Kevin's, the lettering on the sides, that is a font. His dad did quite a few Jokers, and if he did that on every one of them, he'd get really irritated and make somebody else do it.
Right.
So they're printed on.
Right. Well, Neal designed these to be low-end ways of people to own his art.
Right.
Not everybody can spend, $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 for a comic book cover. Not everybody can afford a $5,000 great piece.
Right.
So this was Neal's lower end pricing for a long time, so that anyone basically could buy one of these. You could go to a convention, and it's a little pricey. They weren't $700 when they first came out, but we're coming down to the very end of what we have here. So people have priced these a little higher than what they got them for, and we're pricing along with everybody.
Yeah.
So
there were actually a couple of head sketches that Dad did handwrite the name of the character, but he didn't do it in like a font. He just did it in his clean handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
But they're more obscure characters than
Joker.
You usually know. Robert is asking, did Neal like more Marvel than any other company? Dad liked whoever paid best.
Correct answer, Neal Adams.
Neal, what was your favorite character to draw? Whichever one paid the most. Which was your favorite company to work for? Whoever paid me the most.
Right. For a long time, it was Mr. T because he had gotten paid a lot of money for Mr. T. So I would say Now Comics had that place in history in Neal Adams' life for a while because he got paid very well for doing Mr. T for Now Comics. But it is true. Neal, as he referred to himself, Neal was a whore, and whoever paid good money is where he went. Neal always did a professional job, no matter what. And to be perfectly honest, when we did advertising for a number of years, he never ever asked me, what are we getting paid for this? Neal would do a good job if it was a smaller budget job. I mean, if we got a really tremendous budget job, I would say, Dad, this is a pretty good budget job.
He'd be a little bit more willing to do background crowds and stuff.
Right, and stuff like that. But I mean, in the end, it was his own driving force of always putting out good art that really made the man who he is and why.
Doug agrees. He says any artist would say that you are correct.
Yeah. So $700 is the asking price for this Joker. Again, I would say this is a crisp pick. I would almost say it doesn't need Zia's color, but it would be dynamite with Zia's color. But this piece I feel could, go in black and white, and I would be really happy with it on my wall.
Yeah, I would not be offended if somebody went, no, I just want to keep
this would be a piece I would take. So $700, again, just to put it out there, you put a third down as your down payment. You can pay monthly, whatever you want to pay till it is paid off. Then when it's paid off, it ships out. Now, obviously, when you buy a piece, you instantly want it. So you're going to pay it as quick as you humanly can to get the artwork in your hands in order to enjoy it and possibly put it up on your walls. So there is a driving force to get a piece paid off. So
Yep. 251 was a very popular cover. We have plenty of things still at the Krusty Bunker, but if there's something in particular you're looking for, let me know. But
what is it looking
that's
for?
I don't know. It was kind of a big question. He says,
No.
do you have anything at Krusty Bunker? And I'm like, yeah, we got plenty at Krusty Bunker. What do you want? What you looking for?
There's too much stuff at the Krusty Bunker, which is why we have a lot of
That's
stuff.
why it's a bunker.
Right. We have a lot of stuff right now, 50% off and more at the bunker, just because we need to clear out a lot of inventory that's there.
And Happy Towers is right. He says Neal is a rare all-around artist, especially as an ad studio artist during that period. Old school pros like Neal did it all, but not as great as Neal. Yeah, I mean, when we pull out the commercial artwork, on occasion that we pull out the commercial artwork, Dad has done so many different styles of artwork that if people are like, no, Neal didn't do that. Yeah, he did.
Okay, so for the person who is like, I love Miss Mystic, which I think was Kelly Barrett. Like I said, somewhere in my pile there is a Miss Mystic, and she just popped up. So this is a pencil that is done by Neal of Miss Mystic. She's on an 1117 piece of paper, but she's not that big. I would say she's probably
9 by 12?
Yeah, 9 by 12-ish. This is a pencil of Miss Mystic by Neal. And here, I'll let you in on some insight on Miss Mystic. So,
Ooh.
Miss Mystic has that costuming, right? And you know, the zipatone dots that are on it. Those zipatone dots work in a gradation.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes from bigger dots to smaller dots.
And it was a very particular gradation.
It was a very particular gradation. And Joel Adams, according to Neal Adams, is the only one that ever gets it right. So Joel is the zipatone know-it-all of Miss Mystic's costuming. So if you buy this, you can ask Joel to zipatone it.
Okay, and I know some of you guys might take this the wrong way, but Kelly Barrett is bringing up Neal's muffin drawing. Dad's blueberry muffin illustration
Yes.
was like mouth-watering blueberry muffin.
Right.
And a lot of the food drawings, I don't even know if you have any, what we
We've
have left
sold
in
a
the
lot of our food drawings. Because a lot of our food stuff, because when we started doing advertising, when we were in the 80s, 90s heyday of advertising, you did do a lot of food work.
Yep.
And then as time changed, it went into such as watching your TV. How many food commercials do you still see?
Yep.
Not many. What do you see? A lot of pharmaceutical, a lot of medicine. So food kind of disappeared, and medicine came in very hard and heavy in advertising. And the budgets on food, the budgets on pharmaceutical were much higher than budgets on food. So, and at the time period we were doing food, we were still handing in originals to the client, which is why we don't have a lot of that stuff.
Right. But yes, you're right. It was a very unexpected, people who don't know that Neal and his advertising was very surprising to a lot of folks.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we? We're with Miss Mystic. She is $1,600 to buy. It is a signed piece by Neal. I think she's an adorable Miss Mystic. And like I said, if I bought this piece, I would find Joel. And I would say, because it's a pencil, it's kind of cool. And this is what I would personally
I would
do.
get Joel to ink it, yeah.
I would either find Joel to possibly ink it for you, or I would say, Joel, what would it cost to zipatone her?
Mm.
And have him just lay in her costuming because it really doesn't have to be inked.
Right.
But if you got the costume on this piece, that would make this piece like perfection. So 1,600 for this Miss Mystic. I'm now, just because now I put that together for myself, this is another piece that would be a Chris Adams bag. Because if you got Joel, and I could get Joel to do anything, if you got Joel to do the zipper tone outfit on this, it would be amazing. This would be an amazing piece.
Do we still have any of the actual zipper tone?
No, because zipper
Because
tone
I remember
eventually
when
get
we were
craps
moving,
out.
we came across some sheets, but I don't know if we kept them.
We did. I kept the zipper tone because I'm smart enough to know if I ever need to do Miss Mystic.
We need that information that's on it.
Yeah. I mean, we've looked into doing it digitally, and we think we came across something at some point where we could handle her outfit.
Remind me tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I think there are.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Miss Mystic is 1,600. It is signed by Neal. It is a Miss Mystic piece. There aren't a million Mystics, Mystics out there. This is,
And she's really pretty in this one.
Yeah, she's very pretty in this one. Another Chris pick in the world of people who follow Chris picks.
Dr.
Alright.
Cower says, remember Electroset type? Oh, sure.
Of course we do.
Actually, one of my friends he's been a friend for 10 years, when we first met, he was like, yeah, I bet you haven't done that much studio stuff. And he showed me a tool. He goes, okay, what's that? I'm like, are you kidding me? That's a burnisher. That's what you put the type down with.
We still have those up here too.
Yeah.
You know what else I have? I have Jack Sparling's
Oh,
brush from when he would ink pages, and then he would ink a whole mess of pages, and then at the end of the day, before he went home, he would erase them down, and he had a brush to get the eraser leavings off his pages, and it hung on his desk, and that has got to be like, I mean, it was there before I came up to continuity, but we do have, not Jack Sparling, excuse me. It is, Jack Abel. Jack Abel's brush from cleaning pages.
yeah.
Okay, so next up is a Batman Forever Reflection Rough. This is another Chris pick.
This is a Zia pick too. You and I thoroughly agree on this one, and I really wish Dad had done a finish on this.
Yeah.
Because this would have been...
Damn you, DC Comics. And you'll say, why does Chris say that? Because this is where Neal wanted to take the Batman Forever style guide.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided, no, we're going to go Art Deco. And like blew this up. It would have been the coolest style guide ever if they had just left us alone.
Just let Neal do his thing. What's wrong with you?
What are we looking at here?
And you would think, with the amount of Neal Adams artwork that was out as licensing artwork back then, it's like, why would you make him change?
I don't know. Okay, so what do we have here?
We have Batman's reflection
in a puddle.
Yep.
So you see his crotch shot and butt in the puddle, obviously. But it's this very cool design piece with
even the black shadowing for the puddle sort of makes a Batman cowl with the ears thing going on behind him.
So this is what we hand in. This is kind of like a pencil in a way. But this is what Neal handed in to DC Comics. Again, Happy Tower says the composition on this is bananas. He is 100% correct.
I gotta admit, I have been tempted to scan this in and do like a color guide.
Yeah.
You know, not super detailed, but just like enough to give you that feel.
Yeah.
Because I do love this piece.
Z and I just want to go off and screw around with pieces.
Yeah, I know.
And somehow have a living. Okay, so this is $1,800 to buy, which again is a great price. This, like I said, is what we handed into DC for the style guide originally.
And it does have a pencil signature.
It does have a pencil signature on it. It's a very cool design piece. And I also want to put this out there. If you follow the Neal Adams appreciation page, you'll see sketches that Neal did back in 1974 of, Conan or Batman. And it's done in a rougher,
sketchier way.
sketchier.
Looser but tight.
Loose but tight.
Yeah.
The line he's obviously drawing most of them with a pilot pen.
Right.
So
No
the line
pencil.
work is very thin.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, you go, wow, those are kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to like what Neal is doing today, in a way.
Right.
This kind of, to me, falls into that older, sketchy, cool
Like
thing.
con sketch.
Right. Con sketch that I think this piece rocks. Again, another Chris pick. Sam Green, you were just always on a weird.
I was just going to ignore that one. There's sometimes you just have to just.
We're going to move on.
attention.
Z and I are moving on. Moving on.
Rolling, rolling. That rolling.
Okay. Those Green Arrow lovers. Which, I have a question. I don't know if you guys are following the Superman movie kind of stills they're showing. And they showed Superman standing next to a Green Arrow, which I thought was Guy Gardner. But did you guys think it was Guy Gardner, or did anyone else see it? Or did you think it was not Hal Jordan? I mean, we're talking Green. No, that was a Green Lantern. So I thought it was Guy Gardner. Versus this is Green Arrow, which is totally different. Right. But it just
there's a big battle as to which Green Lantern.
See, I think it was Guy Gardner. Anyway, what I have is not Guy Gardner. What I have is
Oliver Queen, Green
Arrow. Exactly. This is
and Marcus says it's Guy.
Is it Guy Gardner? Okay, I feel better about that because he had crappy hair. So I was like, it's got to be Guy Gardner.
What was with Guy Gardner's hair? I don't understand.
Yeah. Well,
who designed that?
It's old. I mean, Guy Gardner's before Hal.
Yeah, but I mean, they've taken old stuff and like given him a better haircut before.
Anyway, 8.5 by 11. This is like Green Arrow. Low. I think this is my last Green Arrow, guys. Nice pen and ink work here. It is a signed piece by Neal. Oh, is my green tag on it? It's 1900 to buy. It even still has a lot of its pencil on it.
Apparently, he's being played by Nathan Fillion.
Okay.
That makes sense. Now I understand why Nathan Fillion is playing Green Lantern. Because he's playing the Guy Gardner Green Lantern. I'm like, okay, if he's playing Guy Gardner, fine. Right. But if he was doing Hal Jordan, no.
So this is 1900 to buy. Again, can go on a payment plan. 8.5 by 11 is the size. Again, colored up. This would be a magnificent piece. You would be surprised that I will say there's not a lot of Green Arrow drawings out there by Neal. Because mostly people do ask for Batman. So if you're a Green Arrow lover, I would say this is a really nice piece. He's obviously, getting ready to shoot his bow and putting his arrow onto his bow. I'm sorry that it keeps falling. So 1900 is the price for it. Really nice piece of art. Really well inked. All those arrows in his
quiver.
Yes. Nice. Nice feather in his cap. When I was a kid, I had a hat, which actually was like a Robin Hood hat. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, it's a Green Arrow hat. And it had a real feather in it. And I just thought I was the shit.
That makes perfect sense.
It was my favorite hat. And people would tease me, you're wearing a Robin Hood hat. And I was like, no, I'm wearing a Green Arrow hat. I don't know what you're talking about. But they didn't even know who Green Arrow was. Because they'd be dumb. And their parents didn't let them read comics. Okay. Back to a Marvel character that Neal didn't do a lot with. So there's not a lot of these around there either.
Kelly, yes, you can rewatch it later.
Those moms always getting in the way.
Mom, I'm watching.
Okay, so this is 1114 is the size. I think Neal did 4 or 5 of these finished pencil renders of Hulk. This is my last one. This is the one where Hulk is bending a girder over his head. Neal seemed to have a lot of fun with these. Up to this point, the only thing that Neal did Hulky before this was he did a Hulk #1 cover that we also have for sale. But up to that point, I would say maybe in a commercial job, Neal did a Hulk. But Neal really never played with Hulk.
But he would occasionally binge on characters, and this was part of Dad's Hulk binge.
Yeah, but even in the Hulk binges,
there wasn't that many.
There's not that many. Yeah. So again, you're not going to find a lot of Hulks drawn by Neal.
Well, I think Dad enjoyed working on the anatomy for Hulk.
It took him a while to find a Hulk, and then he did a couple of those Kirby head Hulks that were also cool. But this is $3,000 to buy. It's the price that we sold the other ones at. It is a finished pencil render, which means that Neal is shading and basically inking with his pencil. It's the way illustrators in the past did a lot of work this way. Pencils were very tight, and you indicated everything for the inker. And I love when Neal does finished pencil renders. And I love how he uses different parts of his pencil to do shading.
And the other beautiful part about the finished pencil renders is that if you, not to toot the coloring horn again, but if you wanted to get a finished pencil render colored, that is also possible. We wouldn't color on the original, of course, because it is pencil and it would smear like crazy. What we would do is scan it, punch up the line work so that it would be a bit more like ink, and then color it on a copy.
Yeah. We should talk to Aaron, because Aaron's got, I think he's got 2 Hulks. That we should talk to Aaron to see if we want one color. So, here we go, $3,000 on Hulk. Nice. Again, payment genres. All right. Now this one we've had for a long time. This we had when Neal was with us. And I've been yelling at everybody, can't we just put some more color on?
Robert, we have no idea what the first comic Neal ever read was. That was way before our time.
Yeah, I would bet it's an Uncle Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Would be my bet as to what was one of the first comics that Neal got his hands on. Neal loved Uncle Scrooge comics. When I was little, one of the first comics he tried getting me to read out loud was a Uncle Scrooge comic. And so I would bet that was probably what he got his hands on first. And he was a big believer. Let me sell Vampirella and then I'll tell you another story. So Vampirella is 8.5 by 11. This is pen and ink Neal. And it's signed by Neal. And we've added more color to it than we originally had on her. And now this has become a Chris pet. It
What's
is
the number on it?
it's $1,500 to buy. Personally, I think she's adorable and sweet. I think she's very cool looking, and I like this piece. It is $1,500 to buy. Okay, so we'll go back to the Huey, Dewey, Louie. When Neal was, I don't know if he was a Boy Scout. He never talked about being a Boy Scout, but somehow there was like a Boy Scout book that he always talked about, which apparently in Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they talked about a Boy Scout book, and Dad said he got his hands on this book, and that it taught you how to cook a buffalo.
Awesome.
And a lot of weird things that Dad knew how to do supposedly came out of this like Boy Scout handbook. And I had bought him an old Boy Scout handbook because I knew he loved it so much. So like I kind of went to the antique store and looked
Found
up.
the vintage.
And I bought him one, and he was like, "This is not the right one. This isn't the Huey.
Fuck you, Chris.
This isn't
You
the
got
Huey."
the wrong
You know, like when you go on a search for Dad.
I know, and it never
It
never got it right.
Never got it right. So this Huey, Dewey, Louie story that he always talks about has a Boy Scout handbook, and apparently he had the same handbook, and in that handbook you could learn how to cook a buffalo. Because Dad was very proud that if we ever went hunting and hunted a buffalo, he would know how to cook it.
He was,
So this is
when it came to Dad and like getting something that he felt strongly about, there was no A for effort.
No.
You either
It
passed
just
or failed.
Right.
And 90% of the time you
And
failed.
I thought I had finally won. And I was going to have the best Christmas present for Dad. And he's going to love it and be so happy. And it was just like,
And you were wrong.
it was just like, what is this? And I'm like, it's the handbook you always talked about. Oh well. $1,500, $10.
I went to the Hanging Tower of Babylon and
fought a dragon.
fought a dragon and
Got this book.
went
for
to
you.
Baba Ganoush for you for this. Well, it's not the right one.
Maybe it was probably Boys Life magazine. No, it was not Boys Life magazine. The Boys Life magazine, he knows how to make fish prints because I own that original. Because what I said, Dad, this is like really cool. And I said, how'd you do the fish so well? And he said, I got a fish and I inked it and I did fish printing. And that's why the fish looked so good. It's because Dad actually took a fish and inked it and bashed it on paper. So much for Boys Life. But yes, he did work on Boys Life, and a lot of Boys Life has stuff like that. But no, there was a manual. He had it as a kid. And I have yet to find the
So
right.
whatever happened to the one that you went to, Addis Ababa for?
It got put on his bookshelf somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, collected dust.
Collected
Okay.
dust, exactly. But apparently it shows up. That manual shows up in some Uncle Scrooge story that Huey, Dewey, Louie, which I never found that comic either. So $1,500 for.
Okay, Uncle Scrooge collectors out there.
I mean, I have a lot of Uncle Scrooge comics because I collect them.
See if you can find the one that has Huey, Dewey, and Louie in the Boy Scouts.
Okay. Where am I gonna go? What are you guys in the mood for?
Was that reaction exactly? Which is why we always bought them freaking pies.
Yeah, but you know what? If we had bought him a licensed tie,
yeah,
he would be like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" Like, he just turned one Christmas licensed tie time, and then that's all he wanted was licensed ties.
Well, because every time we tried for something else, we failed. So
No,
at
I mean,
least
he used to wear amoeba ties and striped ties, and it was a time period. And then all of a sudden, he just changed over to. Well, first it started with it had to be little, like if you look at the tie, you can see a Batman logo. If you
Right, it
look
had to
really
be hidden.
close,
Right.
it had Tigger's head. And then it just became louder and louder. And
Well, I
the
wonder
bad part,
if that's like us women and the chunky jewelry.
could be.
As you get older, your jewelry gets more chunky.
Right. Like
Dad,
this.
as he got older, the prints on his ties had to be bigger.
It could be. Kelly Bear couldn't get into the Donald Duck because they were Uncle Scrooge was always angry. Yeah, that was an element that I didn't like too much in them. But
Mom loved Donald, but that made sense.
yeah. So this, what are we looking at? Because
We're looking at Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
Anything.
So this is a giclée that was printed from a original painting that Neal did. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say it before. The amazing thing about these paintings is to learn something new is that you can actually use India ink on a canvas with acrylic paint, and it works. You just have to be careful which India ink you use, which is why I had to varnish Dad's paintings
right.
afterwards, because I discovered while cleaning some India inks are not completely waterproof.
Right.
So,
well, it also depends on how thick Dad's India ink was. And Dad never used to mix his India ink.
Yeah,
he was
as much
really
as he would tell everybody to make sure you shake up your ink.
Right. He was very bad at that.
He was very bad at it. Right.
Okay, so this is 13 by 19. Unfortunately, we made this giclée after Neal had passed, so it does not have a signature on it. We do put on it the holographic Neal Adams signature that we have. We put it on the back. It is 13 by 19. This is my last print. Well, actually, this one isn't my last print. This is my showing one. I have one good one put away.
This is the one that's been handled and demaged a little bit, but
I'm down to only one left. Now, I will say the run on this was very small. I don't think we're going to go back and do it again. And then small, I would bet 40 at a high. This is $200 to buy. It is a gorgeous piece. A number of people have purchased this. And to be perfectly honest, Neal was very precise in giclées in how we match his colors, and this matches to that painting perfectly. And the way the paint sits on this paper, it's a very thick watercolor, nice kind of great paper texture, and the ink sits really well on it. And it's a great piece to own. Again, I will say this is a crisp pick. Like I said, I'm just doing crisp picks tonight. And this is $200 to buy. And it's a gorgeous print. I only have one left. It had a very small run for those guys who want to know print runs. We did it for New York Comic Con. Most of New York Comic Con, we did maybe 20 prints, maybe 25 or 30. That's what I'm saying. The height would be 40. And I don't think we did 40. And again, it's not signed by Neal, because obviously Neal had passed when we made these for New York Comic Con. And we do put a holographic, really pretty signature thing on the back of it. So $200 is the price. This has to be paid in full because it's a large piece. We usually just get these out the door quite quickly. So 13 by 19 is the size again. Gorgeous piece, Hal Jordan.
what else you got in your bag of tricks there, Chris?
I'm looking. I'm doing crisp picks tonight, so
Sounds good.
I like this. But I don't remember what the price was. We wrote it down, so I can't do that. Yeah, I know. I'm talking to myself. I'm going to just show Huey, Dewey, Louie. Our fan.
Speaking of Huey, Dewey, Louie.
Right. We're just talking.
Well, that's not exactly creepy.
And all I've done
But-
tonight are mostly crisp picks, so this is another crisp pick. We'll make it today's crisp pick night.
Swapping.
Alright.
You were close. Yeah, had a 50-50 chance on that one.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're gonna need to turn your.
No, it's not that because I need it. Because if I turn it, I only get one. It's because they need to lean back more. They're not. They're on a thinner paper.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to.
Well, I'm kind of hoping the static helps.
Nah, there's no static tonight.
There's always static.
It's too wet. The humidity in New York is amazing right now. All right. So what are we looking at here?
What are you looking at, Chris?
I'm trying to make this work. What we're looking at is a 2-page spread done very large. They're bigger than normal comic pages.
They're about 13 by 19.
Yeah. It is a double-page spread for Fanta soda, because in South America, Fanta is what everybody drinks, I hear. And this was done for a client that had that connection. We sell this spread for $3,000. You can't buy one page without the other because we don't break up the sets. This is Neal's pencil and ink. It is Donald Duck, Goofy, and Mickey Mouse. Those 3 characters were on all of them. I will say there were probably maybe 5 double-page spreads that we did. And most of them have been bought. They're all very interesting in their own way. You know, one had a really cool stagecoach that was done in black shadow. There was an Aztecs, I can't fucking remember.
Aztec.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One that we sold.
Chris and I complete each other.
There was an underwater one that we just recently sold. This one has to do with climbing the Himalayas or something like that. And an avalanche happens. But it has great Donald Duck, great Goofy. Neal was great at drawing these characters.
As Dad would call them, Bigfoot characters.
Right. The nice, great thing about repping Neal was that you can get, you can have Neal do really tight, very finished looking work, superheroes, ladies with great hair selling shampoo product, and you can have cartoons. And sometimes I would have to say, yeah, it's another guy. Because clients wouldn't believe that Neal could do cartoons. Because he does all that other stuff. So this is $3,000 to buy. These are originals. They are published originals. These have seen publication. They were done in color. I am trying to locate, and I'm sending people who have purchased these in the past, trying to find the color for them and get them copies so that they have them, even though they purchased them a while ago. But as we're getting down to the bottom of some of the art drawers, some of the stuff is coming up, or we had transparencies that I recently found. And that's how we've been able to get the color to the people who have purchased these in black and white. So this is Fanta and the Avalanche. Again, gorgeous work by Neal. I would say this is a crisp pick. I would buy these.
I like Donald going black.
Neal loved Carl Barks. Thought he was a great artist. He loved him because he not only penciled and inked well, but also wrote the stories. The stories, Neal's stories were great.
I love these. I used to sell my horse. You have a horse?
He doesn't have a horse.
I know, I'm teasing.
So $3,000 is the price of these. Again, can go on the payment plan. The third goes down and pay it off over time. But this is a very nice spread. And this one doesn't have, I mean, yes, there are patch soda bottles, but other than that, this is pretty clean. It didn't get any changes made to it that we had to patch over. So they're nice and clean pages. I have seen one person who has actually framed it, and when they're in a mat and framed, they look gorgeous. So, nice. And this one, which is Batmobile. And now I have to push my things up because now it's probably too far back. Okay, so this is on a big piece of paper. This is Batman and Robin in a Batmobile. Now this is pencil and ink Neal. This is not complete because this was something that we found down at Dad's apartment, and it got unburied. And our dad had a desk, and next to his desk he had built this shelving unit thing, and it just was piles and piles and piles around his desk and around his piece that he built around him to hold all his stuff. So this is a piece that he started. He obviously didn't finish it because the wheels are not inked. They're not in ink state. They're still in pencil state. This is a crisp pick because I love how Robin is looking out the window. Batman is obviously driving. It is all there. I love the fact that it isn't finished, that you're getting to see Neal's pencil with his ink. It is a signed piece. I don't know why he signed it, yet he didn't finish it. It makes no sense to me. But,
Dad signed it in pencil. Maybe he
Dad
wasn't.
is sometimes crazy that way.
Maybe he was going to leave it as a finished pencil render and then decided to ink it and then went, eh.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like, you know what? I bet it was he probably didn't have a circle template to do. His circle templates
And he put it aside and forgot about it.
No matter how many circle templates we had, the one you
never
want
what you can find
is the one you couldn't find. And when I look at this, I go, okay, so he's inked the car, he kind of inked Batman. The wheels. What do you need to do wheels? Circle template. And then it probably just got put on the shelf because he didn't have the circle template. I mean, everything is simple. I mean, everybody thinks like, oh, it's very complicated of why things, happen the way they do. What I have learned in life, it's usually something like, I don't have the right circle template.
Chris is the Sherlock Holmes of things.
When it comes
what was
to
the
Dad,
other epiphany that we had yesterday or today?
I don't know.
Something dawned on you. What the hell was it? You and I were discussing something and it hit you. Listen, we told Pete about it.
I don't know.
Damn.
Anyway, it is a signed piece by Neal. It is $3,000. I can probably bring this down and change the price right now.
Oh.
To $25.
Alrighty, Roo, you guys heard it here. This is a price reduction of $500. It is now down to $2,500 for this piece, down from $3,000. That is quite a chunk down.
And it's a large piece. It's not small.
Great conversation piece if you have friends that are into Batman.
And I'll send you a circle template.
Yeah, now we have all the freaking
Now we have
templates.
all the circle templates we need. So. But you know how Dad would need one, no, it's got to be more oval.
I have the same problem.
Here, Dad, here's the circle template. That's not the right one. Gotta be more oval
Yeah,
crest.
although Dad was really great at breaking down color percentages into CMYK,
It's awesome.
or like scaling up or down percentages when he needed a copy made. But when it came to like what degree oval he needed,
Yeah, you were on your own on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so 2,500 is the new price on this one. Again, a crisp pick. All right, next crisp pick because I love this piece.
Ooh, Mattel.
Now this piece, I keep it in the plastic, which is why it's so reflective to you, because there's a lot of airbrushing on this piece, and I just don't want the airbrushing to get screwed up. So this is a piece we've had for a long time. Again, you can go back into our older videos. You'll see it with Neal. This is 11 by 17. Actually, it's like a little bigger than 11 by 17. It's a large piece of John Stewart. It is pen and ink Neal. It is colored by Zia with background by Jason. And the background on this is a lot of airbrushing.
Mm.
And the work on this piece I find amazing. I love the space behind him. I love the fact that there's a planet or moon, whatever that you want that to be. It can be. The price on this is $2,200. It is John Stewart. Yes, John Stewart. I'm right.
Yep.
And John Stewart, is going to be on the new TV show, which I don't know if that's going to be good or bad. But my sense is John Stewart is coming, guys. They're starting to break it out. Mm-hmm. So not only will this be worth it because Neal drew it, but here is a character that is finally, hopefully, going to make definitely the TV screen, if not get into a movie, if they can get over what they did with the Hal Jordan movie. Most kids today, when you ask them who is Green Lantern, they do say John Stewart because of all of the great animation stories they've done out there. I know my husband's nephews, when you talk about Green Lantern, it's just John Stewart. Like, it's almost like, who is Hal Jordan? And nobody knows who Guy Gardner is. So John Stewart is the man.
No, we know. We just choose to forget.
And this piece is $2,200 to buy. Again, it is a pen and ink by Neal. Color on this is figure. Foreground is Zia. Background is Jason. It's a great combo of the three of them together. Again, a crisp pick. At $2,200. And again, can go on the payment plan. So, nice piece. A lot of airbrushing on this piece. Since we're doing crisp picks I do love LV.
I did relocate a couple of color guides I did for head sketches. If you ever want to put those up.
Okay. All right. This is another crisp pick.
El Diablo.
Here. Now again, you got to be a true Neal Adams fan to go with this one. So this one is 8.5 by 11. It is El Diablo, which some people are going to be like, El what?
What?
Who's El Diablo? What's she talking about? So El Diablo is a Zorro type character, except he wears a red mask. I think the reason why Neal liked working on El Diablo, which he didn't do too many El Diablos, was because probably he could do a horse and a cowboy, basically. So Neal, once again, came in on a Monday, and as we said, he would go away, come back on Monday,
and flick art
at us. And
he would never hand it, wouldn't even toss it. He would flick it.
Yeah, the Neal Adams flick.
Which none of us have mastered.
No.
It was only Dad.
Which anyone who's worked at continuity knows what the Neal Adams flick is.
Yep.
And This is pen and ink Neal. We do have a lot of bleed on this, so this is a little tighter crop, and it will look gorgeous crop. You're seeing it very wide, and it is colored by Zia.
Just checking. Actually, next time we talk to Ed Maslow, I want to know if Dad did the Neal Adams flick when they were classmates.
No.
No, you
That
don't think
happened
so?
later. That happened much later. I
Okay.
could even. He didn't do it within feces.
Okay.
So this is 1,500 to buy. This is signed by Neal. It's colored by Zia. If I didn't say that. Again, cool piece. There's only one El Diablo, and this
The one
is
and
it.
only.
It's got a good price. It's a nice piece of art, framed well. Like I'd almost want to do like a black velvet type thing with this.
Ooh.
Very cool piece. And like I said, you're seeing an awful lot of bleed on this. Like this would be definitely finished almost at Neal's signature. So nice piece. All right. And here's another crisp pack. It is very white, very, very white. Okay, next up is another crisp pick. I tend to love Silver Surfer. This is a great pen and ink Silver Surfer by Neal. But what also makes it amazing is when Zia colors these pieces. Zia does a really, really, really nice Silver Surfer. She just ran away from me, so she's probably going to get something. Because what Zia does is she'll reflect a galaxy off of the silver of Silver Surfer. They come out dynamite. She does different one. Neal has done Silver Surfer a couple of times. Zia colors them all way differently from one another. And every time she does it, she knocks it out of the park. This is the pencil and ink Silver Surfer by Neal. It is a signed piece by Neal for $600. And here she comes. She's coming back.
Ran off to get my color guides.
Yeah, so these are Neal's Zia's roughs.
Ooh, she mistook me for Neal.
It did. She has one. Now they're rough, so they're not.
That's why they're
modeled
small.
together, and they're small. But that gives you an idea of, this one was this way. She did one where a galaxy was, reflected and all of that. So there's.
I always see Silver Surfer. He's colored gray.
Yeah.
And that always bugged me because that's not silver.
So again,
I decided to polish him.
I would buy this as a crisp pick. I definitely would have Zia color it. And then you get a nice piece. And she can color it where we make a copy of it. And then, same size copy like what I showed Batgirl earlier tonight. And that way you have your pristine Neal Adams art that hasn't been colored, and you have a color piece for yourself as well. So it's something to think about. Definitely works really well on these profile things. It's what we've done it a lot with, I know you guys remember Tommy who flew through and bought up a ton of stuff, and everybody was like, well, Tommy's just going to buy everything. But Tommy was very smart. He bought a lot of the black and white profiles, and he is having Zia color separate from the original, another copy of it, and he gets the black and white with the color. And Happy Towers loves the addition of the pinkish tone on this Silver Surfer. So that's what I'm saying. Think about some of this stuff in color. Some of this stuff doesn't need color. So 600 on Silver Surfer?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, in the front end of the show, we had the air conditioner guy here tonight, and it was right over our table.
Yes. We're in a bit of panic. That's why our shelves are
Yeah,
bare.
that's why
there
I
in
have
the
nothing
background.
behind me tonight.
The cupboards look bare, but don't worry. Don't worry. We still have plenty of stuff left.
Yeah, that is true.
Fear not.
I was looking for actually the Ninja Turtles because I saw them. And maybe in that stack because I didn't put everything.
Look at that.
Yeah, they may be over there, but I'll pick up Flash.
Nope. We got Green Arrow and Joker.
Maybe I left them up there. I may have left them up there. I think
Yeah,
I
there's
see
a couple of
them.
Ninja Turtles up there.
Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of CGCs. All right, so I have a 9.8. So for a Neal Adams original sketch cover, to get a 9.8 doesn't happen that often because when Neal draws on a piece of paper, he mangles it a little bit. So normally you'll get 9.4s for Neal's sketch covers. This is a 9.8 yellow label. It was a sketch cover. I'm going to try and turn it a little sideways.
I'm trying to come a bit more towards me.
Towards you, because that gave me reflection right down.
A little bit more. There. Good.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. So this was a blank red cover that then Neal pencil inked and colored this flash on it. It is signed by Neal. It is 9.8. It has been CGC'd. It is a great flash. I love this flash. He's in action pose. The price on this is $1,900. It's already been yellow label CGC. I think the only reason why it's around is because it sits on my back shelf. And sometimes you don't see it. And I think we spend a lot of energy on Neal's artwork and not always the CGC. Like we think of CGCs kind of as an afterthought. But the price on this is $1,900. It is a 9.8. It's a yellow label, which like we've expressed, you can't get the yellow labels anymore. Whatever yellow labels are out there, that is it. And it is flash number 750. I don't know if that means anything. It was put out in May of 2020. The most important thing is it is a 9.8 with a Neal Adams sketch cover. I don't think Neal did the flash at all. But when he did do the flash, it was a great flash. And this is $1,900. Now this also can go on the payment plan because it is considered original art even though it's been put in plastic. So $1,900 is the price. It's a great piece. I put it in Chris's hot picks of the night here. And I would definitely think about this piece on a lot of different levels. Again, look up Neal sketch covers and you tell me how many 9.8s you find out there.
Hi, Todd.
There's Flash. There's a crisp pick. Okay, I was talking about the turtles. Turtles. Oh, that's stiff. I like talking about the turtles because I have a gem and Tammy. Okay, so We have a 9.9 Ninja Turtle, which has Kevin Eastman and Neal Adams, which doesn't happen at all.
And figure out where you put it.
Right. So that is a 9.9. The artwork on that is Neal. It's one of the Ninja Turtle covers he did. I want to say, it feels like we did 3, maybe 4 covers for Ninja Turtles. There was the painted one that had Batman on it. Did you get that Joker one? Yes, I do have the Joker one.
The Happy Tower says this was my second choice after the white-faced Joker cover of CPC.
Right.
And Ted's asking if he got the Joker one.
Oh, no, he didn't get the Joker one. I don't know who got the Joker one. Okay, so this is a 9.9 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle number 100. It is signed by Kevin Eastman and Neal Adams. Nobody has that. And basically we're selling it for $1,500. Now the next cool thing is we have a Kevin Eastman Neal Adams 10 of the same cover. And that one we're selling for $3,000. Now the rarity of Kevin Eastman and Neal Adams signing the same comic book is pretty rare. And these are yellow labeled, which means already done.
They were witnessed.
So $3,000 for the 10, which I never saw a 10 until this came in.
Which that would have had to have been done at a convention.
Yes, it was
To get them both.
Yeah. And a 9.9 for $1,500.
And to get a comic book through a convention from one artist to another and get a 10 on it.
And they didn't sit together. It wasn't
Yeah,
like,
no, you
they were
had
on a
to,
panel, they were next to each other at a convention, or any of that.
Oh, Happy Towers did get the white-faced Joker.
Yes, but the Joker that Ted talks about is the purple covered one. So. So these are cool, and we do have them. They are available. And they go in the Chris Pick line of CGCs. Okay. Next Chris Pick. I think this is cool. Now this is a raw book, hasn't been CGC. At this point, I think you could only get a blue label on this. And what makes this cool is, one, it is a facsimile. I'm going to say that 101 times because there was a problem with the Elite 11 comic Instagram that we did, where people kept, even though we kept saying it's a facsimile, not an original printing. Somehow overnight their ears opened up and heard it wasn't original printing. So this is the Batman Man-Bat facsimile edition, where Neal drew and colored a Batman remark, which is what you're seeing if you're not on YouTube. Or no, you see it on YouTube.
Well, if you're not on Instagram.
If you're not on Instagram. There is a beautiful Batman remark that Neal colored himself. So it's a pencil ink and colored Batman remark on a facsimile edition.
Right, this is not an original printing.
Right, for $500.
Why do I smell Cheerios?
I don't smell Cheerios. Maybe something's coming up the frame. Maybe they're making something muffiny that smells like Cheerios downstairs. So that's another Chris Pick. this is going to be my last Chris pick for the night. Because I also think this is very cool. This is the only one that I have left. So this is $200 to buy. It is our comes with a certificate of authenticity. It is the limited edition Neal Adams 2018 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive comic book. Now this is a cover that Neal did that was not on a comic book. It was done on a metal cover. So what they do is they put a metal as the cover. The interiors of this book are, I don't remember now I'm thinking about it. It may be Batman 50.
Yes, I think it's Batman.
I think it's Batman 50 is the interiors of this. So this is a cover that was not printed as a normal cover.
Well, isn't it like they take the normal cover printing and then they adhere the metal to the cover, to the front cover?
Right. But this image is given to them.
Yes.
Yes. So, and what the reason why we fell in love with these metal covers and the reason why this has a white background is because the white, like
It's
white
so
tends to
vibrant
look
white.
when you print white backgrounds in comic books. We don't do white backgrounds in comic
Yeah, well, white backgrounds tend to look almost neat on
books.
regular
Or not
paper
finished.
or not finished. But the white on this is so
White cream is like white tile
yeah.
because it is metal. The white is very white and very poppy. So
And the colors are gorgeous on it.
right, because you have all that white. So the reason why I like this as a Chris pick is because you don't have covers with white.
Yeah.
And the reason why you don't is because we don't have good white. This is shiny and reflective and cool. We sell this for $200, and like I said, this is my last one that I have. They ding a little easily. Their corners can get bent. This book has good corners still. It is $200 to buy. It was originally a limited edition that we sold at San Diego Comic-Con in 2018. It is signed by Neal. And I'm telling you, whoever buys it is going to love it. So that is the end of my show. So if anybody wants to see something again, I have my pile that we showed right to my right tonight. If you're watching this and we're not on, you could always direct message us. If you want to clear this with your significant other, you can always direct message us. We do put things to the side.
If there's something that you've seen maybe on another viewing
Right.
that you want to know if we still have, you
Right.
can direct message us.
Exactly.
If you are looking for other comic stuff, you can also contact the Krusty Bunker.
Right. The Krusty Bunker has a lot, right now the Krusty Bunker has a lot of CGCs of Neal's Superman, Jimmy Olsen's, Superboys, a lot of vintage stuff. So if you're into looking for Neal's vintage stuff, it is from Neal's personal collection of comics. These are comics that Neal has either purchased through time. Some of them are actually comics that came into, in my younger days, you would get a stack of comics that would come in the mail from DC. I don't remember it so much from Marvel, but I do remember it from DC because one of my many jobs was to take that, and then my dad had like a bookcase thing that we got from the A&P, and my job was to put the comics on top of the comic pile so that Superman went on Superman. It was like having a retail store at the age of, 8, 9, 10. So some of them come from there. Some of them just come from Neal buying comics through time. Some of them come from his apartment downtown. But we have a lot of Neal Adams collection. Their CGC, they have that cute little Neal Adams head on them because it is Neal's personal collection of comics. And if you're into a lot of that Superman-y stuff, they have a ton of that at the Neal Adams store no, not the NealAdamsStore.com is our website, which I also would recommend going to.
Hold on, B. Cavins, I missed this, said Tech 400, please.
What?
B. Cavins asked Tech 400, please. Detective Comics 400. We have a Detective Comics that you showed that was 400.
No, 200. All right, I have a Detective
I'm
Comic.
sorry, B. Cavins, I'm sorry, I missed that.
I have a Detective Comic with a Batman head.
Right, this is the facsimile edition with the head sketch. Is that what you're looking for? I'm sorry, I missed it. He may have said 400 because it says 400th anniversary in the top left-hand corner. So is this the one you're asking about?
Yes, it has to be this one. It's a $500 facsimile edition with the Batman remark on it. That was pencil, ink, and color. Neal. I'll move this out of the way. Somehow I remember his name from last week. We can try and find him. What was his name?
Hold on, I gotta scroll back a bit.
Yeah.
It's V. Cavins with a C and the number 4.
So V Cavins.
B is in Z, B.
Oh, B Cavins
Z
4.
Cavins 4.
Okay. All right. Well, if he doesn't answer, we can find him maybe.
Okay. So it stopped scrolling for some reason.
Right. I think you had asked about this last time you showed up. Okay.
Well,
In
he
any
may be
case,
claiming that. So
the Krusty Bunker in LA, which has a phone number, it has a site. You can get in touch with them. Joel Adams is there. Nick is there. They both are available to help you with any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, they're more vintage comic book, CGC or Raw. We sold a lot of Raw comics as well. If you're into that, that's the place to go. We also have the NealAdamsStore.com, which has artwork, comic books, collections, stuff like that, printed books, and that is available there. Most of the artwork there's some art on the NealAdamsStore.com. Sometimes it's different than either the art I have that we sell, or there's our shows, which our next show will be on Friday at 7:30, same back channel, and with me and Z, and we'll show more art and some more stuff. Again, if you're seeing this and you want something, or we may have missed you, you can always direct message us. Even when we're not on air, we're usually pretty fast at answering you guys. So I guess that is it for me and Z today. Again, we're going to be posting that Batgirl piece, and I want you guys to see what it is that I've been talking about, so you understand it. And that'll be fun to go through. Zia will be working on the background probably tomorrow.
Yep.
And we'll be showing that. So keep with the Neal Adams comic artist on Facebook and the Neal Adams on Instagram to follow that. Or you can go to Zia, what's your sites?
mine are, I don't even remember. On Instagram, I am Zia1031, which is ZEEA1031. And on Facebook, I am Zia Adams, ZEEAADAMS.
So for her Instagram, just saying Zia. What is
Halloween,
it?
1031.
Halloween and the Halloween date.
Yeah.
Okay, so Z and I are going to say goodnight because it is a school night for us.
Not for Jade anymore.
And we have to be back at work tomorrow. So everybody take care. See you on Friday. If you guys are around, Z and I are going to be around. We're glad to be back. It was nice to have a long 4th of July weekend.
Where we did absolutely
we
nothing.
both did absolutely nothing. So everybody take care. Good night. We'll see you Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.